Hi, and welcome to this week's mini pick-a-card reading. So I love doing mini pick-a-card readings because they're free general readings for you guys, but you guys get much more options to pick from, and I get to use my miniature cards. So here's the deal. I had done a reading earlier and it was really successful, and for this pick a card reading today I was thinking about doing can I trust them or not. Now I will do that for tomorrow, okay, so you will get that video, but something inside of me kept telling me no, you got to do that other reading again, okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. All right, I'm gonna do the you choose the question reading. Okay, so how this works is like this: you just pick whatever question you want guidance about, anything. Okay, and then I'll give you a reading, and hopefully if it works the way that it did the last time, you will find that the reading will answer your question. Okay, and just to give you an idea of what kinds of questions that are best to ask, you get to pick. Okay, the top card here is going to be more along the lines of yes or no. Okay, so you can ask, should I do this or should I do that, or something like that. Okay, or you could ask a broader question like what do I need to learn about this, or what do it could be as specific or as broad as possible. Okay, I just want to go ahead and say the way that the cards are, we have like the yes or no at the top. Then we also have a guidance card, which is going to give you some advice on, what the next steps are, basically. And then we have some tarot to give you some details and some general ideas about it. And then we also have Madeline Payne's Pocket Oracle, and that's put out by Deviant Moon Incorporated. Okay. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what cards are under here so that you understand how this is going to be a pretty well-rounded reading. And usually my mini pick-a-card readings also have miniature, they're kind of miniature readings. This one will probably take a little bit longer, but hey, I'm just feeling drawn to do this particular topic, so I guess you guys need it. So that said, let me go ahead and point out the piles. Okay, pile number 1 is the white, pile number 2 is a clear, pile number 3 is a purple, pile number 4 is this light blue or turquoise, pile number 5 is red, pile number 6 is black, pile number 7 is brown, pile number 8 is pink, pile number 9 is the dark blue, and pile number 10 is the green. All right, so that said, I want you to focus on whatever question you have and then find the pile that corresponds with that question. Of course, you can go back and do this a number of times if you want. Just want to also let you guys know that, anything you need to know about me is going to be in the description. Okay, I'm not even going to talk more about it because I know I've already kind of taken up a lot of time talking. So here's the deal. If you have not picked your pile, go ahead and pause. Otherwise, we're going to start with pile number 1 right now. Okay, guys, so of course I'm going to be moving the cards so that we have enough room. Hope you guys are having a really good day. I am. I'm getting caught up with all of the readings, and I still anticipate that I'll be able to open the regular readings back up on Monday, okay? All right, so that said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1, those of you who picked the white. Okay, so we have set sail for a new course. We also have yes. So either the answer to your question is yes, or this is a favorable situation. Okay. We have the telescope. Oh, how interesting! We get it's a trumpet. How interesting that I thought it was like a telescope, though. That's really interesting. I'll have to think about that too. But we have the trumpet and the voyage. We have the Empress. We have the 2 of coins, and we have judgment. I apologize for that cat in the background. He's loud. Anyway, so the Empress, okay? The Empress shows us that what's going on right now, there's abundance in this situation, okay? You're going to get more than what you want in this situation, okay? just like the Empress is usually shown as a woman who's pregnant, there's probably a gestation period going on here. You know, when we go through the creative process, we do have to wait. We have to let it, you know, build, and we have to let it, become what it needs to be before we can give birth to that idea, right? That's kind of like what's going on in the situation. So if you feel a little anxious by waiting and that kind of thing, I just want you to know the first time I was pregnant, the last month, according to my internal clock, was about 3 years. So, you know, it might feel like you're waiting a really, really long time for this, but just know that it will come out in time. It will happen in time. We have a second major arcana card, which is Judgment, which is like, it's like, this is also kind of like the divine timing card, okay? It does say that this is going to happen. There's probably some kind of reason that you're doing this for, that has to do with a soul level. So if it's like a job or something like that, it's like you're meant to do this. If it's a relationship, it's like there's some kind of soul connection here. There's some kind of contract between the two of you that is important, that kind of thing. We do have the Two of Coins, and I always like to mention, you know, the turbulent waters in the background here. You know, understand that, you know, when we're giving birth to a creative idea, or when we are trying to manifest something or make something happen, and key point on that, making something happen, the creativity process, not forcing it to happen, obviously. Sometimes we can get frustrated, and that's okay. Just because sometimes we feel a little bit weird or a little bit shaky about a situation does not mean that it's not still a positive one, you know? Toxic situations or situations that like poison us, right? That's not what I'm seeing here. I'm just seeing something that might cause some anxiety, and I think it's because, again, there's something about this particular situation that touches a nerve deep inside of you, okay? And that's why that one's coming up like that. And also, it just feels like it feels like there's been a lot of investment into this, okay? So we have the trumpet. It's interesting because in Judgment, there's a trumpet here as well. So in that case, you know, we've got you know, the wake up call, the kind of like aha moment, right? And then, you know, I originally looked at it and thought it was a telescope. And even though I know this deck really well, so I think it's really weird that I would think that there was a telescope in the deck, but I want to also interpret that because sometimes, you know, something will come to our minds, you know, as intuitives, and we'll know that we're meant to see that, and that's where we need to go with it. I also feel like this is like a long-lasting situation. It's going to go far. It's far into the future. You can see far into the future with it, that kind of thing. And we have Voyage. Set sail on a new course. That does not necessarily mean to abandon this, because I don't feel like this is going anywhere. It just means try, you know, in this situation, try something you haven't thought of yet, okay? Or try something you haven't put into action yet. And if you don't know what that is, it's totally fine to sit on it until that comes to you, okay? Because it's like there's, you know, I get the impression that this is like, once you come up with that idea, that weird idea that's going to be like, oh wait, maybe I should approach this in a different way, then it's like everything's going to fall into place really well, okay? So do understand that for as much, because I feel like this has really been something you guys have been thinking a lot about, for as much of you thought about it and maybe analyzed it, there's even more to analyze than what you've already analyzed, okay? And that's probably another reason why there's this anxiety and turbulence in the background, because when we overthink things, you know, and sometimes it's appropriate to do that, when we overthink things, sometimes that can bring out some anxiety, you know, maybe that's something that you need to be facing right now so that you can kind of work through that in preparation for this to happen, okay? All right, so that's a really good, you got yes, I mean, that's a great one. All righty. Okay, hi, those of you who picked the clear stone. We have stillness, okay? We have go, the time is right. All right, wow. So I would imagine this is probably about a relationship, because we have the Two of Cups followed by the Six of Cups, okay? We also have the Ten of, the Ten of Wands, and we have the Pipe. Okay. Just wanted to say the pipe is associated with peace sometimes, and I just wanted to mention that real quick. I don't know why, but it seemed like it was really important for me to mention that before I even went into everything else. Okay, the time is right. I really feel like this is one of those things, like if you want to like go for it, you know, that kind of thing, it's like the timing's really right for that. I also kind of get the idea that it's like you guys kind of like the first pile that I got, I get the impression that there has been a waiting period for you guys up until this point, and when things start coming together, it's almost going to feel like it's going too fast almost. So kind of keep that in mind. If you are working with somebody on this, this is very favorable in partnerships. It's also favorable in relationships, okay? So, I mean, very, very favorable. You're working with the right person. Okay, if you're working alone, then you're supposed to be working on this alone. If this is a love situation, you're with the right person. That's the person that's supposed to be coming towards you. If you're with more than one person, it's the one that your heart feels pulled towards, okay? We also have things from the past affecting the future here. So make sure that you're real clear about any kind of past trauma that might affect this situation, okay? Or be understanding that the other players in this situation might have some trauma from their past that will affect the situation's outcome, okay? So and that's kind of underscored again by this particular card, the 10 of Wands, because this is like, this can have to do with burdens and all of that kind of stuff, like you're carrying this thing around. But usually, and I'm going to read it this way for you guys, because I feel like this is more appropriate for you guys. This guy, okay, he's been working so hard on whatever he's been doing, okay? The wands are about taking action. And do you see how there's a village in the background there? Right? He's worked really hard on this, and now he's going to take this into town. He's going to either sell it, or he's going to figure things out about it, something to that extent. So I think that that's really interesting. So again, the time is right. He knows the time's right to sell his product, or to go for what he's been working from the ace to the 10 through. It's like he's done, and he's gonna go sell it, and he's gonna go get that together. And then we've got the pipe. So again, like I said at the very beginning, this has to do with peace, okay? So you can be at peace in the situation. And I also feel like this has to do with relaxation, like you can relax knowing that things are going to be okay, things are coming together, and you have help. If this isn't a love question, you definitely have help, and it might be in an old friend, something like that. We also have stillness, which also kind of gives me the idea of the relaxation and the peace, okay? In calm waters, everything becomes clear. So, sometimes we'll have a situation going on around us, and it'll really kick up the dirt, and it's like you can't see, it's like in a sandstorm, you can't see, everything's all cloudy and muddied, and you don't really know which direction to go and all of that. And it's like you just have to wait for it to all settle so that that the way ahead can be clear. I really feel like that with this, it's very similar to that hermit energy. Except with the hermit, the clarity is going within rather than waiting, So again, I really feel like this has been a waiting period. Even the sticks in this particular card invokes the imagery of an hourglass, right? And we have an hourglass here with the moon phases and all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously been something that's been a waiting period of time, but the time is right now. Everything is coming together. You will be able to be at peace in this particular situation because something is about to resolve, okay? Alrighty. Okay, pile number 3, those of you who picked the purple stone. Okay, we have optimism. No need to worry. Okay, so that's That's your kind of yes or no answer. No need to worry. We have the Tower, which makes sense why it would say no need to worry. We have the King of Swords, we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have the Crow. Okay, that makes sense. So the Crow can be about bearer of bad news, okay? Now, it not always is, but it's typically associated with being the bearer of bad news, okay? The Crow is in the same family, though, as a Raven, which is also talking about foresight. Okay, so sometimes the Crow can bring bad news, which would be very much like a Tower moment, like, oh no, something's happened, something's been said, there's been some kind of event, and now everything feels like it's crashing down. It feels like maybe something has gone terribly wrong, maybe something can, it feels like maybe it can't be repaired, that kind of thing. When we talk about the Tower, there's all sorts of different things that it can invoke, aside from just absolute terror, like, oh no, I got the Tower crab, But it's, with the Tower, it's like we've built a wall around ourselves to kind of keep us protected, our soul, our ego. We don't want to feel vulnerable, right? And so we've built this, and it's like all of a sudden life comes and it's all like, no, you've got to be your true self. This isn't working, and it strikes down the walls that you've built up around yourself, and you have to start over again. But the way you start over again is by really getting to the core of who you are and what you need and what you want in the situation, that kind of thing. I feel like there's going to be some kind of awakening in the bad news, or whatever is being perceived as bad in this is going to turn around and give you some of the best foresight. It's going to make you very wise, like the King of Swords, very wise to the situation. You don't have to worry about it because things are going to get better. You're going to have a lot of prosperity in the physical world. And they're saying to stay optimistic, okay? After each rainstorm, there will be clear skies, of course, and it's interesting because we've got a rainstorm right here on the Tower, so that's very appropriate. And yeah, I mean, it's important to know that. I think that what's going on in this situation, regardless of whether it's like a love situation or a work situation or with a friend or a family member or whatever, is that I feel like it's reached a point where it might seem like things are going in one direction, and that one direction is really negative. But there's actually a huge silver lining. And I feel like for half of you, the silver lining is that there's something so much better out there for you. And I think that for the rest of you, the silver lining is that, no, it's not as bad as you think at all. This will be fine, There's something that I'm being guided to say here with you guys, and I actually feel kind of hesitant to say it because it sounds so presumptuous and so almost arrogant to say. But I mean, and please don't take this personally, because I just feel like I have to say it, okay? And so please, I don't want to say it, okay? But I'm also getting that, like, this destruction might have been some kind of weird self-destruction or self-sabotage that happened, either on your part or on another person's part. Almost like it needed to happen, and like almost like you knew it needed to happen. And again, please, if you're going through something really, really tough and me saying that is like, what? Just please ignore me. Because seriously, it's like the worst thing to say to somebody when they're going through something like a Tower moment. But I'm being told to say that. So I hope that that's not mean of me to any of you guys, okay? Just know that I acknowledge that was a really horrible thing to say to anybody that's going through a rough time, and I hope that it makes sense to most of you guys, all right? Okay, just be optimistic. Things are going to get better. Alrighty. Okay, those of you who picked the light blue turquoise, we've got the Anchor, okay, the Magician, we have the Two of Wands, and we have the Ten of Cups. This is like, I love these cards here, because we have manifestation, then we've got like kind of going on a journey. It could be a shamanic journey. And then we have like the happily ever after card that I like. Okay, so you're going in the right direction. Okay, stay the course. It's interesting because this Two of Wands here is talking about travel and direction, that kind of thing. It doesn't necessarily have to mean literal travel. It can just mean, that that whatever direction that you're looking at and ahead of yourself and all of that kind of stuff is the right one that you're supposed to go with. And then you've got the flowers. That's a really great card. This is talking about beauty. It's talking about love. It's talking about a positive choice. Very fortuitous. I would imagine that a lot of you guys are probably asking about a love relationship. Doesn't mean that this has to be a love relationship, but there's something about this that's like about on your journey, what are you doing right now, and it's like you're manifesting what you need to. You're going about doing what you need to do. You've got a clear vision for what you should do, even if it's not crystallized yet. What you have envisioned so far is basically correct for you. It's like you're going the right direction and everything. And as you keep moving through this situation, you're going to find that it's like you'll always know what to do a couple of steps ahead, okay? And then we've got this security. It's almost like it's promising that there's going to be some kind of security at the end, whether it's financial security or emotional security, relationship security, that kind of thing. And we have this beauty. I feel like it's really important too for me to tell this group that's picked this, everybody is in their own way, but that you guys are very beautiful, and the way that you're expressing yourself right now in this situation is very beautiful. It's very moving. It's very becoming. So I do want to mention that. And then we've got the anchor. Keep yourself grounded, okay? So yeah, in some cases, especially when you're talking about the magician who's working with kind of like esoteric powers, and by that I mean, the magician, he has this idea of what he wants to create, and so maybe he prays about it, maybe he meditates about it, maybe he uses the law of attraction, maybe he does a ritual, there's all sorts of different ways that we manifest. Maybe he just goes out and tries to do it, that kind of thing. I feel like the anchor is talking about grounding yourself in the fact that, when you have enough vision and that kind of upswing of the intuitive and the esoteric and all of that, that sometimes we get stuck in the abstract, in the mental world so much that we forget about the physical reality. And, of course there's that. But I also feel like this is anchored in place, almost like this is part of your life contract. That's the best phrase I can think of to use. Apply that to how you understand your life's path and your life's journey. But yeah, I feel like what you guys are asking about in this particular spread is, really big deal to you. And if you're like, well, no, this isn't really that big of a deal, it's something that's going to have some really lasting impact, okay? So yeah, this is very, very, very positive, okay? You're going in the right direction is probably the best thing I can say. I love how you got the anchor too, because that's kind of talking about the boat and movement that way too. So I like that. Okay, guys, it's good. Okay, hi, those of you who picked the red stone, we have unlikely. Okay, so there's something about this that's not very probable of happening. Okay, well, we'll look at this. We've got reflect. Peer into the endless ocean and see what peers back. Yeah, reflecting is like, maybe you're not seeing the situation clearly right now, and it's time for you to look at what's true. When I think about the unlikely and the reflecting and looking into, this is obviously... it brings to mind the Nietzsche quote, or Nietzsche, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but, about staring into the abyss. But I feel like something needs to be, something needs to be brought light to in this situation. Like, you need more knowledge. You need to seek out more knowledge. We do have the Five of Swords. So we have a character here that's really cutting, that's really arrogant, probably. Somebody who has a lot of pride. I don't feel like this is you, the viewer. I feel like this is either a situation that's being personified in this card, or it's an actual person in your life that's been hurtful to you, okay? And then we have the Eight of Cups, which is talking about moving away from emotional difficulties, emotional burden. It's also kind of like, I like to call it the no drama card. Like, we don't want any more drama anymore. We're going to just kind of get away from it. In the past maybe 10 or 15 years, people have used drama to mean something that's kind of associated with like high school or something like that. I don't use it in that way. I mean, no theatrics, no histrionics, that kind of thing. Like, it's a situation where it's like you don't want to be enmeshed in this negative situation anymore. It would be like a toxic situation. And then we also have the Eight of Coins, the Eight of Pentacles, which is talking about putting some hard work in. And then we have the Octopus. The Octopus is very smart. The Octopus, gets into its head. It figures out, okay, what's the right thing to do? We've got another 8, so we've got 888. And the reason I'm saying that is that not only is this 44, which is 4 plus 4 is 8, but this is, the Octopus has 8 tentacles and all of that, and we've got the Eight of Cups, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. This could be a situation that you've found that you're kind of fixated on, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We as humans fixate on things that we're very attracted to or that we feel drawn to. That's normal. But it seems like maybe the fixation might be reason why you've got to kind of look a little bit further. I feel like when it's saying unlikely, I feel like it's saying it's unlikely until there's light there, until there's more knowledge about the situation. And I feel like this character can go either way, because we have on this card, it's a difficult card to read for a lot of people, because we've got the person in the foreground, who's the person who has success. And then we've got the people in the background that are humbled and have been defeated completely. So I feel like this is a very mutable card. Like, this can change very, very easily. And this kind of going away from drama and then getting into your head, I feel like this is almost like you're supposed to point out to this person, for those of you who, this is really resonating with as far as there being an actual character there. You've got to point out to the person what they're doing, and you've just got to be straight up with them, and I feel like that's what needs to happen in order to bring light to the situation. It's like you've got to shine light on the way they're acting. But there is also some going within, because I feel like for some of you guys just need to walk away from whatever situation you're inquiring about, and it's just difficult because you've invested a lot of time into it. And when we invest a lot of time into something, it's almost like it becomes more valuable, and that's a psychological effect. I'm not saying that when we invest time into something, and we end up, having a finished product and all of that, that it's not, genuinely something that we love. It's just that it can psychologically kind of anchor us into it the more we invest, right? This is talking about kind of getting into your head, kind of being consumed by just tedious tasks, and trying to just kind of get into that zone, reflect, and figure out where the light needs to be shined onto, and also figure out where the information needs to be. Like, where's the missing information in the situation, and going out and hunting for it. Because I really feel like there's something about the action of finding that missing information that's much more important than the missing information itself. Okay? I hope that makes sense, and I wish I could have given you a better reading, like a happier one, but that's what's supposed to come through for that pile, all right? Okay, hi, those of you who picked the Black Rock. Here is your reading. Okay, listen to your intuition. Most of you guys already know the answer here. We've got communicate. Things left unsaid will never reach the shore. That's absolutely correct. And then we have the Three of Cups. We have the Hierophant. We have the Four of Wands, and we have the Boy. Okay, my goodness, I don't want to share too much about somebody who, is such a close friend of mine, but I really feel drawn to tell you this. So, most of you guys know who Shannon is. He's the person that answers my email, and he's a communications manager. He deals with the comments here too. He makes sure that I see the comments that I'm supposed to see. He puts the reading suggestions on my a list of things to do, like my viewer requested readings, right? He had a dream recently, this week, and it really shook him up. And basically he's a very reserved, very quiet person that does not like to express his emotions very often. And it's not because he doesn't have them, or because he's, and it's not like in a romantic way. It's not like the strong but silent type that's like, romanticized a lot. I mean, he feels emotions very, very deeply, but he doesn't express them very much. I think it's because they're private, for him. His emotions it's almost like he wants to hoard them, because they're so special to him. And I just happen to be really good at reading him, so I almost always know how he's feeling about something. And the people who are close to him are, understand that about him and are fine with that. But this dream really shook him up and made him feel like he needed to communicate his feelings to people more, and he's so funny. He's like, well, instead of keeping the feelings to myself 100% of the time, I'm thinking like 1% of the time I can share my feelings, and then the rest of the time I can keep them to myself. I'm like, okay, Shannon, you do you, right? But seriously, that's what this reminds me of, is like, you've got to listen to your intuition. Something about his dream, his intuition was telling him that he needed to reassure the people in his life that he cared about, that he does care about them and those kinds of things. He needs to talk about sharing emotions with other people and that kind of thing. And so we've got this listen to your intuition, the communication here. So I really feel like there's something about that experience that is important to the group that picked this stone. And I just realized he always picks a black stone, so he's gonna know now. He's gonna know that I shared that. Great. Well, whatever. Sorry, Shannon. So yeah, we've got the Three of Cups, and that's talking about joy. Okay, so there's something about using your intuition and communicating that's going to bring a lot more joy into your life. Okay, if you're in a situation where you're not certain if everybody can be happy in the situation, this is reassuring you as well that everybody can be happy. So if you're in like a third party situation, or a situation where it feels like you're caught in between two opposing forces, it's like, instead of it being an either or, it can be a both and type of situation. We also have the Hierophant. Okay, so we're talking about most likely a social situation. Doesn't always have to be. So for those of you that doesn't resonate, that's okay, because the Hierophant can also mean wisdom and knowledge, okay, and applying that wisdom and knowledge, as your worldview, that kind of thing. So do keep that in mind as well, okay? I get a feeling that there's some kind of perceived missed opportunity here. I feel like that's a perception, though. That's not the reality of the situation. Like, you can still take action. You can still make it, like, even if it's like a moment in time that you can't take back, it's like you can still get there again, that kind of thing. And we've got the boy, so we've got the masculine in a kind of a childish way, so I kind of feel like this kind of reiterates that, boys have very strange ways of expressing their emotions. They might tug at a girl's ponytail, or scare somebody with creepy crawlies. And, I know that my son has really weird ways of sharing with me that he cares about me and everything. So I feel like there's some kind of immature energy here that might even be endearing, but that energy's got to be brought up a little bit, and the way that it's brought up is with communication. Okay, guys, I really hope that this reading makes sense to you guys. If anything else, I feel like the focus is on using your intuition. I feel like you guys already know, okay? I feel like you already know what you need to do. So yeah, you're good. All right. Hi, those of you who picked the brown stone. Here's the answer to yours. We've got guidance. Find safety in your beacon's light. Yeah, self-guidance too. We also have choose a new direction. Okay. That doesn't mean that you're in the wrong situation. It just means that you've got to find a new angle. Okay, we've got the Five of Wands. This lets me know that there might be some conflict in this situation. Obviously this does have to do with conflict. Sometimes it has to do with playfulness, and sometimes it has to do with banter, but I feel like this is a conflict situation. Like there's some kind of conflict here, and the way out of it is to just not engage in any kind of emotional toxicity. Okay. Because we have this person offering a cup, and this person's like not paying attention to it. You know, I'm trying to hold it up as close as possible, waiting for it to focus here, if it will. Actually, the card might not be that clear and crisp. But anyway, yeah, you see a situation where this person's being offered some kind of emotional gift, and they've got their arms crossed, or they're closed off to it. You know, it's almost like this is the question, like, should I keep on in this, like, you know, stressful experience? And this is the answer, like, you know, maybe just detach a little bit from the emotions in this situation and don't engage for a little while. We do have the Hanged Man. This can definitely have to do with finding new perspectives, but I feel like in this particular situation, you know, we've got choose a new direction, and so that does underscore that. But we also have the Hanged Man as being a, you know, it's like it's time to be still right now. Like the guidance, go within, be still. Try to figure out the angle, okay? Try to figure out a different angle. Disengage emotionally. Try to figure out what you've got to do in the situation to get this bring a harmony back. And then we have the ear. This is like, again, this is a lot like seeing things from different angles. Make sure that you're listening. Make sure that you're perceiving as much of the situation as possible, and that you're looking at it from all sorts of different perspectives. The ear can also talk about guidance, you know, since we have the guidance card, guidance coming in towards us through auditory means. Now, you know, we have to think about, like, well, what invokes auditory sensation, right? We've got music, we've got spoken word, but we also even have written word. You know, some of us, when we read, we hear the voice in our head and that kind of stuff. So this would be any kind of spoken word, any kind of music, that kind of thing, okay? It could even be like a sound, you know, like a sound effect or a sound that we hear that just signals something to us. So yeah, this feels to me like there's something very, very profound happening to you right now that's going to really bring you deeper in the situation, and it's going to give you a lot of clarity as far as where to go. And this new direction, choose wisely. Something that really strikes me about this too is that I feel like you already know the direction that you're supposed to go in with this, but it's like you just needed confirmation that you're supposed to change directions in order to go. Now, not all of you are going to feel that way. Some of you are going to be like, well, no, I really don't know. I really don't know which way to go. I need guidance, that kind of thing. But I feel like there's something inside of you that already has it figured out. So really pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to music. I feel like there's an aha moment coming for you guys, okay? I wish I could tell you, you know, I wish I could give that answer to you, but this is more about the process. And I had another reading in this same video that was the same kind of message, but this one feels a lot more profound to me. Like the aha moment is gonna go deep, really, really deep. So you're working on some big stuff here, all right? Okay. Hi, those of you who picked the pink stone, here's your reading. We have Wild. And we have, this is a sign. Okay. So if you're looking for a sign, you've got it. It's right here. Okay, we've got the Fool. It's time to start something. Okay? You can do it. Whatever it is, you can do it. You're supposed to do this. Okay? So rest assured, you're where you're supposed to be. Here's the deal, though. When you're feeling, you might be feeling kind of stuck, like, and inhibited, and that's okay. Sometimes when we start on something new, or we do something that can feel a little risky and all of that kind of stuff, we can feel really, really anxious and even paralyzed, right? But another thing is that often the prison that we make for ourselves, and what we find ourselves stuck in, is a device of our own making. This woman's got swords all around her, and she's tied up. She can very easily escape, right? This can also come up when we are paying way too much attention to negative self-talk. So if there's been a situation where you're like, I don't know if I should do this or not, I don't know. I mean, there's all these negative potential consequences of this. I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to close off my options, and and that kind of stuff. It's time to go, okay? Because look, this card, the Six of Swords, it's talking about moving moving away from the negative thoughts, okay? Even though the person's got the thoughts right there with them, they're trying to get away from it, okay? And then we have the antidote, okay? So you're not supposed to be feeling bad. You're supposed to be feeling good, all right? So this reminds me of that kind of like right before something big happens, you know? And I remember when I was younger and there would be like a school dance, right? And my parents made me go to the school dances even though I didn't want to. I wasn't a school dance person. You know, I remember some of my friends would get really, really excited, you know, and some of my friends would just be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go, you know, and some of them would be like, oh, what if this boy, or what if this boy, you know, because my friends were girls at the time. and it's like, I'm sorry, my friends were straight women at the time. I apologize. I don't mean to say that, you know what I mean. I hope. I read for all kinds of relationship dynamics, and I don't mean to be insensitive to that. I'm just remembering from my past, and I apologize. That was the dynamics then. But what I mean is that, you know, before a dance, before something, you know, was going to happen, you know, I tended to be the one that was all like, ooh, I don't want to, you know, like I didn't like the change. I didn't want it to happen. But I noticed that other people would get really excited and everything. So like the antidote to that is just to be calm and know that this is going to happen. It's cool. You're supposed to go forward with it. This is a sign that's giving you that green light, you know, and then we've got wild. Believe in your otherworldly beauty. Dance with the waves. Oh, how interesting. Dance. I didn't even see that. Okay, dance with the waves and drink in the sunshine. So, you know, these are all going to be themed on ocean type things because it's from this deck called Sea Melodies, right? So anyway, I just wanted to explain why it was like that. But when I think about the wild, when I think about that, I think about getting involved with the unknown. Because, you know, a while ago, the wild was always associated with uncharted territory. Things that we didn't know about. The wildwood was parts of the forest that man hadn't gone into and cleared away and I guess, you know, civilized or whatever they think that they were doing, you know. So forests really were a big deal. You know, the wild was really a big deal because it didn't just symbolize that within us, which is like out of control and maybe, I don't know, beastly, or maybe part of the id pleasure principle that we try to repress, you know, oftentimes, but it's also part of this unknown, you know. And so the fool, look at this. He's you know, going for something by basically falling off a cliff for it, you know. I mean, that is definitely the unknown. So it's okay. It's okay. You're supposed to be doing something that's a part of the unknown. And if you feel a little anxious about it, that's fine. If you feel a little bit excited about it, that's fine too. It's great. Just know that that's an appropriate reaction to going after something new or going after something that, might feel a little scary, a little big, you know, that kind of stuff. Whatever it is, though, you're going to learn something very important from it, and you have some kind of protection in this, okay? I really hope that makes sense. Alrighty. Okay. Those of you who picked the dark blue stone, here's your reading. We have rescue. Right. Your answer is reconsider. Okay, whatever situation that you're in, there's probably a different way you can get what you want in this situation. And it might even mean getting out of this particular situation right now, okay? For example, I'm going to use the example of love, you know, and I'm just pretending. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just, you know, for every single viewer, I'm just pretending. For example, maybe you think that you found love with this person who has been toxic in your life for whatever reason. So the reconsider card saying maybe you can actually find an even more complete feeling of love with somebody else. Or it might be, you know, reconsider your approach to this person, you know, that kind of thing, okay? We have the Ace of Cups, so it does show that there's going to be some kind of new emotional investment in this, okay? So this has emotional meaning for you, okay? We do have also the Seven of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles. This lets me know that You're going to have the resources, okay? You're also going to really want some feedback from the people around you when it comes to this situation. You know, it's really important that they see and appreciate what you're doing and that kind of stuff. Understand that people communicate that in different ways, okay? And understand that if you need that feedback, just ask, you know? Some people don't think to give it. That kind of thing. And then we have the arrow, which is really interesting because we have this reconsider while also having the arrow, which for me feels like, you know, you're on the right track, or there's something deliberate about this. Let's see what rescue says. Help others in need or ask for assistance when you need it. Yeah. I feel like there's another person that's supposed to be involved in this that you can just ask them directly to help you with it. And it's not even like you can't do this by yourself. It's more like just the act of saying, maybe I need help, is enough for you to get back on that track and for you to consider a different way of going about getting what you want, okay? Yeah, so you know, this is one of those readings that is a little bit ambiguous, and I apologize for that because I know that most people who watch these want clarity, okay? They want clarity, and I definitely want to give that to you, but I feel like either you're going to have to find a different way to get what you want, or either you're going to be rescued or you need to help somebody else, okay, in this situation. I really hope this makes sense because I feel like all of what I'm saying is true. So please pick what resonates and just totally leave what doesn't resonate, okay? But yeah, there is some kind of direction that you do have in this situation, and I do feel like you have control in the situation too. I feel like there's a lot of things that you, like you can be very resourceful, and you can definitely try different ways to get what you want in this situation. I don't feel like the problem is getting what you want. I feel like the problem is being stuck on the idea that the way you're doing it now might be the only way. I feel like that's more of the issue here, okay? I hope that makes sense. And I don't mean any kind of negativity by that. I'm just, you know, relaying what I'm getting, okay? All right. All right. Hi, Pile 10. Those of you who picked the green. Perseverance. Stay the course. Okay. Yeah, you should. So we have get more information. First off, you know, there's still more to learn, okay? So if you're wondering, you know, well, why do I have to stay in this situation? Part of it's because there's more for you to learn. And then part of it is that you might not have all the information to make the wisest choice in the now. But we do have the wish fulfillment card, which lets me know that there is something that's coming for you, okay? And it's going to be positive. Look at the colors in here. There's a lot of light in this card, a lot of light in this card too, right? We've got the Three of Wands telling us that whatever you're waiting for is going to come, okay? Wish fulfillment. This, you know, we've got somebody waiting, but this person believes, they have faith that it's going to come, okay? And then look at this. We've got the Sun, the ultimate bright card in the entire tarot deck, saying you're basically promised happiness here, okay? And we have the Frog. Oh, that's great. The Frog lets me know that this is going through a transformation, as you know, tadpoles to frogs and all of that does, you know. You're going through some kind of transformation here. You know, things might not, you know, they might look a certain way, but it's actually another way, you know. This situation's coming full circle. Is getting to that point where you're about to have everything that you want in this situation. So stay the course, persevere, okay, and you're gonna be fine. This looks great. I mean, this looks really happy. I would love this if I asked anything, you know, if I asked anything about my situation with this, you know, any situation that I wanted to know, I'd be so ecstatic for getting these cards. It would be great. So basically this is a very positive reading. Alrighty. All right, those of you who stayed to watch, thank you so much. I want to also say thank you to those of you who have spent time to leave me comments and leave your likes and have, you know, decided to subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I get so excited when I see my numbers going up and all of that. I still get really excited about each and every new subscriber. So I'm, the thrill isn't gone, right? So I look forward to bringing you a lot of new content over the next few weeks. Me and my communications manager, Shannon, are working on some really exciting new content. We're going to be doing something about twin flames. If you have any questions about twin flames in the meantime, send them my way. You can either use email or you can leave a comment here. I hope you guys are doing good, and I will see you in my next pick a card reading.